Hello. In this lesson, we're going to cover the subjunctive with verbs or expressions of doubt and uncertainty and adjective clauses. Okay, so the lesson objectives are to learn several expressions of doubt and learn how to use these expressions of doubt with the subjunctive. So in this lesson, we're going to learn some verbs or expressions of doubt that serve as triggers for the subjunctive. Okay, so here's a partial list of expressions of doubt. Dudar is to doubt. No creer is to not believe. No estar seguro is to not be sure. Es dudoso, it's doubtful. No es cierto, it is not true or it is uncertain. And no pensar is to not think. So let's look at some examples of sentences using expressions of doubt. Again, as you know, these expressions, the weirdo verbs expressions, are found in the independent clause. When they're found in the independent clause, then we have to conjugate the second verb, the verb of the dependent clause, in the subjunctive. Okay? Um, so I doubt they will want to buy this old television set. Dudo que ellos quieran comprar este televisor viejo. It's not true that I spend a lot of money on clothes. No es cierto que yo gaste mucho dinero en ropa. Michael doesn't think that we should leave for a month. So here we have the first subject, here is the second subject, the conjunction there. We have does not think, we have the first verb, and should here is the second verb, and this is where we use the subjunctive, right? So Michael doesn't think that we should leave for a month. Michael no cree que debamos salir por un mes. It is doubtful that we will need more than 2 weeks to finish the project. It is doubtful, so we have this subject one, verb one. Then we have the conjunction, we have subject two, and we have the verb two. This is where we use a subjunctive, right? Es dudoso que necesitemos más de 2 semanas para terminar este proyecto. Okay. And now let's look at subjunctive with unidentified or non-existent antecedents. So an antecedent is a noun found in the independent clause to which an adjective clause refers. When you mention an unidentified or non-existent antecedent in the main clause, you must use the subjunctive in the adjective clause. Please notice that when the antecedent exists, you use this indicative in the adjective clause. So let's look at firstly some examples of sentences with known antecedents, and of course you're going to conjugate the verb in the present indicative, not the subjunctive, because we know who or what the antecedent is. So for example, I have a roommate. Okay. And then we have the adjective clause, a roommate who is responsible. Okay, because I know the person, we're going to conjugate this verb in the indicative, not the subjunctive. Okay, so tengo un compañero de cuarto que es responsable. He knows someone, so this is the antecedent here, and this is a known antecedent. So this verb is going to be conjugated in the indicative. Él conoce a alguien que habla ruso. Okay, now let's look at some examples of non-existent or unidentified antecedents, which obviously are going to use a subjunctive in the dependent clause, the adjective clause, right? So I am looking for a roommate. It's basically the independent clause. Then we have the adjective clause here, who is responsible. Who is responsible is referring to the roommate. Do we know this person? Is this identified? No. So then we're going to conjugate this verb here in the subjunctive. Busco un compañero de cuarto que sea responsable. He does not know anyone, the independent clause. Okay, and anyone here is the antecedent who speaks Mandarin. This is the adjective clause referring back to anyone, right? He does not know anyone. We have not identified this person, so we're going to conjugate this verb here in the subjunctive. Él no conoce a nadie que hable mandarín. I want to visit a park, independent clause with an antecedent that has jogging trails. Do we know if this park exists? We don't know. We haven't identified it yet. So this verb here is going to have to be conjugated in the subjunctive. Quiero visitar un parque que tenga senderos para correr. And he wants to meet a person, independent clause, antecedent there, who enjoys similar activities. Who enjoys similar activities? A person. Do we know who this person is? Have we met this person? We have not. So it's unidentified or non-existent. And so we conjugate this verb here in the subjunctive. Quiero conocer una persona que disfrute actividades similares. All right, and yeah, that's it for subjunctive with verbs or expressions of doubt and uncertainty and adjective clauses.